2021, we have continued to close the meal gap in our 21-county service area through optimization of programs, empowerment of partners, and helping our neighbors move toward greater self-sufficiency. This year, we were able to meet the sustained need by distributing over 99 million pounds of food, which equates to 82.7 million meals for our neighbors across our 21 Hoosier counties and beyond with Fresh Connect Central. In 2020, in response to the pandemic, we created a drive-through distribution which allowed us to safely serve more neighbors due to the increased need, but kept us from meeting individual dietary needs. In September 2021, we welcomed our neighbors back to in-person shopping in our community cupboard. The market atmosphere allows neighbors to choose the foods they need to make meals for their families, as well as find needed household items. Through drive-through and in-person shopping, more than 7 million meals were provided through this pantry. Our home delivery program, started as a way to serve homebound neighbors during the height of the pandemic, became a regular part of our hunger relief programs in 2021. We rely heavily on volunteers as we work to close the meal gap. On average, more than 300 volunteers are needed each week to maintain production and distribution. We were thankful to have over 12,000 volunteers clock nearly 39,000 hours this year. That equates to a value of over 5 million meals or 19 full-time staff members. As part of our strategic plan, Gleaners is committed to ongoing collaboration and partnerships with pantries, agencies, schools, and other organizations throughout our 21-county service area. This year, thanks to a generous gift from Lilly Endowment and the Indiana Department of Health, 40,000 square feet of refrigerated storage was added to our warehouse, which allowed for additional sourcing, safe storage, and distribution of fresh produce and dairy. With the help of this new space, over 76% of the food we distributed fell under our Foods to Encourage, which consists of fruits, vegetables, lean protein, whole grains, and low-fat dairy. Our reach today is thanks to a network of nearly 300 partners, including food pantries, community centers, homeless shelters, soup kitchens, schools, and more. We have worked with our downstream partners to identify funding needs that will allow them to increase the amount of fresh, perishable food they distribute. Capacity building investments were made to empower these partners, including refrigerators, freezers, shelves, technology, pallet jacks, and general construction costs needed to upgrade existing pantry space and serve more people.
Our partnership with Gleaners just means so much to us. We are in an old village pantry convenience store. The grant we got from Gleaners helped us to kind of seal up the cooler in the front where our volunteers are able to get food out of the cooler. Those were 40-year-old doors that were not sealing. They didn't have good refrigeration. They didn't have good glass. The temperature is staying controlled in a much better way. So we're able to get fresher foods for our shoppers, produce, dairy, yogurt, eggs. So our shoppers are going home with good quality fresh foods that we know has been stored properly. We are a small pantry by our footprint, but we're able to serve so many people because we have the right tools to do that, which is a good cooler, good refrigeration, a good space, and a good partner in Gleaners.
March of 2022 marks 2 years of pandemic response, and yet Gleaners Food Bank entered that pandemic prepared with a great strategic plan, not seeing the pandemic coming, but poised to respond. We certainly have not just risen to the challenge of meeting the higher volume during the pandemic. We've taken the opportunity to innovate and to change and try to be a little nimble and entrepreneurial about adding additional opportunities. And as we test things here on site at Gleaners in the community cupboard or in other ways, the intent is to spread that out across the 21 counties. So we're sharing the lessons learned and having a broader impact than just our neighbors. Fiscal 2021, it's an understatement to say it was a challenge. What's gratifying is the feedback and the stories we hear from our own employees as we focused on taking great care of each other in challenging times. And it starts with that team of wonderful employees and volunteers, but the most important thing is the partners that have helped us downstream. Gleaners' role stops at a certain point, and it's critical that we do our part to help our downstream partners of food pantries and community centers, but maybe most important of all is those neighbors that we are privileged to serve.
I have a 10-year-old son, a 13-year-old son, a 16-year-old daughter. I came back 4 weeks ago to help with my mother-in-law, and I was a caregiver. She passed away a couple weeks ago. I have family, but they're older and they struggle too, so I really don't have anyone to help. So I called 211, and 211 referred me here. I called here and they told me the days, the times, what I needed. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen like drive-through food pantries. I've actually helped back in Florida a few times through hurricane season and things like that. I like that it's not based on a price or what job you have. It's bring your ID, we take your address, here's a card, and also can come as much as needed. A lot of people need that, especially with big families. Gleaner's Pantry's fed my family for the last 3 weeks. Without it, we definitely wouldn't be eating for the last couple weeks. That's honesty.
At Gleaners, we measure success not just formally through our strategic plan and every important deliverable tied to that strategy, but informally. We know we're doing our job well by the outcome and the difference we make for the neighbors we're privileged to serve. And nothing has tested that like a pandemic, and our work is not done, but together we can continue to serve those neighbors and, frankly, additional neighbors who need our help. Thank you.